very ironic. Today I'm going to talk about voice. I have a bad throat and lost my voice a bit. So please bear with me for my coughs. Today I'm going to talk about voice technology and the direction it's heading, not just globally but also in India. I'll also be joined later by Sanjay Dar, who is president for Aman Chitrakatha, one of our brand partners. He's going to spend some time about the voice journey which ACK has taken with us and how they're looking at voice in a big way. I want to leave today with all of you brands and agencies to figure out what should be your voice journey and how you should be planning for voice. Right? A quick show of hands here. How many of you have heard of Alexa? Okay, that's really encouraging. So good. How many of you have an Alexa-enabled device? Better. And finally, how many of you for your brands have thought about a plan for voice? Right. There's just a handful of hands. Hopefully, at the end of the presentation, I'll have probably all of the hands, a lot more hands go up. Right. That's the objective today. So let's quickly cut to a simple video talking about who the pioneers in voice are and what does voice pioneering mean.
We started out with a small idea. We wanted to create the world's first interactive radio drama. We were mobile first to begin with. Luckily, Alexa came along. I remember, I told my team, okay, I think we're going to make a pivot here. I think we're going to focus on Alexa.
I have thousands and thousands of connects. And I'm like, why not try and learn Alexa and do something cool with the Raspberry Pi? I remember I spent almost an entire weekend doing it, like barely any sleep.
My first skill is pretty simple. It's called Black History Every Day.
Patricia Bath, first Black woman to serve on staff.
It started to work on April 3rd, 2017, which happened to be my 60th birthday. And I cried when it worked. I cried tears of joy.
Tell unofficial Raspberry Pi car to move the car forward.
The car is moving forward.
We are driving my car. That's my voice.
SmartCap takes the images from the camera and it interprets what's in the image, and then it narrates the scene to the visually impaired person through Amazon Alexa. Alexa, ask SmartCap to describe the scene.
It is a desk with a monitor and a laptop computer sitting on a table.
As soon as I saw the video of the person using the device, it was a eureka moment for me, and the feeling from inside is like you are doing something good in life and it can help others to achieve what they want.
One of the other projects I created, I called it Alexa in the browser. You could just go to a web page and you had a virtual echo, just a white circle on the page. It became a product called EchoSim.io, which is a echo simulator. It's amazing, I go to events and I see people kind of developing echo skills and they fire up EchoSim.io on their laptop and they just sort of talk to Alexa through that. And it's like, oh yeah, that's one of my code underneath.
We're on the cusp of a revolution, a voice revolution.
Voice definitely is the most powerful medium I can say which can change the world.
And now is the time to start learning the stuff and to get involved in it, because so many developers you look at and go, oh, if I could have gone back 10 years ago.
As a result of the shift to voice, we've reached a much, much broader audience than we ever thought was possible. That is a much bigger future than anything that I originally expected.
A simple message is voice is a very powerful medium of communication. This simple data point, when you type, you can type at probably 40 words per minute on average. At voice, you can speak at 150 words per minute because it's more natural, more intuitive, right? And that's why we want to make this claim saying there is no more intuitive method of communication than voice. As kids, they've grown up for speaking, hearing, right? Not typing, probably not touching screens, right? And that's why we believe, if you look at how technology has progressed across the decades, right? In the 70s, we had command line interfaces. You had to know the exact command to type in. It was all words and things you had to mug up, right? And then came the era of graphical user interfaces. You didn't have to learn the commands. Everything was abstracted. You had a screen. You had a mouse as an extension of your hand. And probably you went and clicked a certain window to do a certain action. But still, you were training human beings to work towards with technology. And then from accessing stuff only on your machine, you got access to machines everywhere. That's when the internet revolution happened, right? And finally, everything got shrunk down last decade and it all came in your hand in a mobile phone. Today, I believe we're at the edge of a new revolution, which is the voice revolution. What we call is the voice user interface. where you don't have to know how to do a certain task, you don't have to learn how to operate a certain machine. It's all should come as natural as speaking, and that's what the voice foundation is going to do, right? And that's why we believe voice is the future. If you look at these two pictures, right, on the left side you've got a bunch of kids trying to operate a computer. Obviously they're scared where they might break something. They're trying to learn, okay, which key should I hit to do what and how should I do this thing. On the right side, you've got an Alexa-enabled device or a voice-based assistant where you don't need to learn how to operate it. You just speak to it and you start off. There is no training period involved. I'm sure all of you got phones for your parents, or when you got your first phone, you had to figure out, okay, which screen do I do what, which app do I need to install, right? In voice, it's super intuitive. You just start speaking and it should work. And that's the journey we want all of you guys to take with us. Right? Very powerful stat, 30% of conversation, 30% of interaction with technology by the end of the year will be through voice. And if you notice, the keyword here is not 30% at the end of year, but the keyword here is conversations, right? It's no longer for brands about doing a task or I give a command and it should fulfill that command. It's about how can I converse with my customer? How can I have a conversation? How can I connect with my customers? And that's what voice lets you do. Get back to basics. Most stats, 33% of households or consumers in the US have a voice assistant. And it has been launched 3 years ago. I'm sure an iPhone or a phone could not say that back in the day. Within 3 years of launch, 30% of customers in that country had it. 50 billion voice searches a month. Right? Tens of millions of Alexa devices sold. And these are just 3 years of being in the market, and that's the kind of hockey stick growth this market is seeing. And it's been just 1 year in India, and we're seeing a very similar hockey stick growth in India as well. Right? But all of this needs to start somewhere. How did it start? It starts with a vision. Let me play a small video which talks about the inspiration for our vision. If you start in France, you'll identify this very easily.
Can you help me find Commander Data? I understand he's somewhere on this deck.
This way, sir. You must be new to these Galaxy-class starships, sir. Tell me the location of Commander Data.
Lieutenant Commander Data, now located in holodeck area 4J.
And as you can see, sir, it's pointing you that way.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
The next hatchway on your right.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Commander Riker. And if you care to enter, Commander.
I do.
And that's what our vision is. No matter where you are, you should have access to a voice assistant. And no matter what information you want, no matter what task you want to do, it should be all simply enabled through voice. You don't have to pull something from your pocket, you don't have to go to a desk and do something. And that's where we draw our inspiration from Star Trek. Right? And Jeff and team built Alexa from this vision. Right? Now let's go back to a regular Indian consumer and look what could be a regular day in the consumer. Right? We start off our mornings probably with some news. We turn on our water heaters, we turn off our lights, our air conditioners. We probably book a cab to go to work. Right? In the afternoon, the kids come back home, they play a nursery rhymes perhaps. You feel hungry, you order a pizza, some stuff for education, right? You get your homework done. And finally, the evening, you want to hit the kitchen, make a new dish, listen to some relaxing music. Those of you who do yoga and meditation want to do something on that front. So at every stage, you're interacting with a brand. You're interacting with somebody who fulfills that need of yours, right? And let's take out couple of small instances from here and see what's the difference in the way you do it today and what's the difference in the way voice can enable you to do it, right? Let me take adding a to-do list, right? All of us have a bunch of things to do, we're very busy people. We either write it in a post-it, a sticky note, put it on a refrigerator or put it on a laptop so don't forget it, right? Still a lot of steps involved. Or we have really cool apps today where you can go add number of to-do lists and keep appending things there. So you're going to take out your phone the modern way, you're going to unlock your phone, locate the appropriate app, enter it into the app, then done, and then close your phone, right? It sounds like it happens in 2 minutes, but it's still many, many steps, right? And those of us, the best way, the most reliable way, would be like just a Ramo Kaka saying, hey, just do this. Obviously, not all of us have a Ramo Kaka at home, so how else can we get it done, right? And that's where the most natural way is just say, Alexa, add XYZ to my to-do list, and you're done. Anytime you want to retrieve it, you say, Alexa, what's on my to-do list? As simple as that, right? Let me take another task, right? Simple thing. Imagine you're late at night, you're binging on Netflix and Felix. Let me correct that. Binging on Amazon Prime Video and then sleeping off at night. And then you're like, okay, I'm going to turn off my TV, go hit the lights and go to bed. You're feeling really lazy to walk up to the switch and turn it off, right? So what do? We are all smart people, we have smart home devices. You pull out your phone, you open an app, you log into the app, you hit the button, you just turn off the switch, you do some 10 steps, right? Or if you really don't feel like doing it, but don't know where your phone is, you do it the old school way where you go up, walk and turn off your lights. But imagine what voice can do. Sleep where you are and just say, Alexa, turn off my bedroom light, and you're done, right? And that's what voice does. It makes things super intuitive, super natural. You don't need to remember commands, you don't need to remember where your phone is. You can even get to turn your TV off, kill the lights, turn on your favorite relaxing sounds, and go to bed. Right? How does this magic happen? That's the most important part. And this is where I'll introduce Alexa. Right? So Alexa is a voice service which sort of tries to lives up to the vision, saying we want to be everywhere and do anything that the customer would want to do, and all on the cloud. The cloud part is super important. So when a user says, if you have an Alexa-enabled device like an Echo or a third-party device, the user says, Alexa, what's the time? A simple command, but Alexa has to process that and say, what is the time, right? Break it up into smaller alphabets, and there's a lot of phonetics involved, AI and ML involved, and make sense of that sentence. What's the time means these users sitting in maybe Mumbai, in wherever near the airport, wants the time at that place, right? Then it goes, hits the cloud, hits a bunch of repositories, gets the time and says, passes back the text, and the text has to speak back in the most Indian way possible. It can't use an American accent, and we're not engaging with the customer, right? It has to say, the time here is currently 5 or 4:30 p.m., right? And if it's clever, it will say, it's time for your branch to give a voice, right? But that's what the magic that happens behind, and all in milliseconds. You can't take a few minutes to process that request and get back, right? So let's see, I'll give an example of a brand which is a very unconventional brand. If you think of technology and voice, and if you think of toothpaste, you wonder how do these two get married, right? So some of you might have heard of the brand called Crest, which is P&G's Crest, is a big famous toothpaste in the US. So Crest decided there's a problem where all of us our kids know it about this problem, that how do you get your kids to brush your teeth regularly, right? Adherence is a big problem. And as a toothpaste brand, you want to stand for regular brushing, you want to stand for hygiene and health, right? So Crest decided to leverage voice, Crest Kids, and said, can I build a use case around it? Can I leverage Alexa for it? Right? I'll just play a small video which demonstrates this.
Let me teach a short out. How big is a whale? What do plants eat?
Kids can be easily distracted, so for parents, getting them to brush their teeth can feel more like pulling teeth. Only 47% succeeding in the mornings and 69% at night. But ignoring brushing has consequences. Tooth decay has become the most common chronic disease among young children. So Crest Kids dreamt up a way for parents to make tooth time a journey of imagination with a simple voice command.
Alexa, start Chompers.
Chompers is a twice-daily audio show that combines healthy brushing tips and curiosity-inspiring content that keeps kids engaged while they build better brushing habits. Each episode runs for at least 2 minutes, the exact time dentists recommend for healthy brushing.
Switch to the other side of the bottom of your mouth and keep brushing. So, which of these animals has the most teeth? A snail, a shark, or a saber-toothed tiger? We'll tell you tonight when you come back for more Chompers.
To make it easy for parents, Crest Kids integrated Chompers with Amazon's Alexa, empowering moms and dads to instantly unlock a world of original songs, jokes, stories, riddles, and facts, keeping kids entertained and on task so they brush better daily, morning and night.
Tonight, we're going to give you the answer to that question we gave you this morning. Which animal has the most teeth? The answer is, a snail has the most teeth.
New content every morning and night drove a behavioral shift for Chompers listeners, boosting morning brushing to 73% and nighttime brushing to 89%. And a whopping 91% of parents credited Chompers with making brushing easier. It's unanimous. Chompers is a game changer. It's amazing what kids can accomplish in just 2 minutes twice a day. 3, 2, 1, spit!
So here's a brand that's want to solve a problem, want to own a space, and it's like they have great content. Why not leverage that content to solve a problem which parents face? Now, parents who use this skill for getting their kids to brush their teeth will never let go of that brand. Right? That's how loyal they become to it. But how do they do it? Like, how do they enable it? Let's get to the execution part. So, like in your mobile phone world, we have something called Alexa skills. Skills are nothing but voice apps in the Alexa or the voice world. Right? So, any brand without any cost can go sign up and start building a skill. All of these skills are by default available on all Alexa devices. If I'm restricted to a particular Alexa device, whether it's our own device or a third-party device, and all of these are on the cloud. So there is no download an app and install an app, and then I don't have enough storage space, I remove it and I install the next app. It's all on the cloud. So anytime you update fresh content, anytime you update your skill, it all gets auto-updated on the cloud. The customer doesn't need to do anything about it. You don't bother the customer, right? So we worked with a lot of Indian brands to provide similar such experiences. Sanjay later in the day will talk about one such great brand and how they brought it to life with Alexa. So let's again see the third video, which is all about how skills globally have built for Alexa and what they're doing for voice.
More than 2 years ago, we began this journey together. We introduced the Alexa Skills Kit, making it fast and easy for anyone to learn to build for voice. And you redefined the way we interact with technology. You enabled customers to control smart lights, thermostats, cameras, and even entire rooms, all hands-free with voice. You created trivia games, adventure games, and even added augmented and virtual reality, feeding your customers' curiosity. You build skills that deliver custom news updates and fresh content whenever customers ask. You added voice to everyday things to make them faster, easier, and more delightful. And through tens of millions of devices with Alexa, you've reached customers in the US and beyond using the voice service they prefer. What was once a few skills is now many, and what was once the future of voice is today. Since we started this journey, you've built tens of thousands of skills that push the boundaries of what's possible with voice. With each new innovation, you're enabling natural and delightful interactions. You're shaping the user experience of the future, and you're inspiring creators everywhere to experiment and daydream. We can't wait to see what you build next.
A lot of these examples might seem very US, but let me surprise you with the next slide saying a lot of Indian brands, hundreds of Indian brands in the last 1 year have already joined us in building this voice journey in India. So I'm going to showcase a few brands and what they've done in India already. You can think of all the big newspaper or news providers, Times of India, NDTV, national providers, as well as regional folks like Malayalam Manorama, Jagran, like all of them have already a voice or Alexa experience. Radio, a very intuitive thing you would think an audio device, you need to have radio on it. So we've got All India Radio. The government, you think, may not be the fastest when it comes to adopting new technology. They have launched 17 Alexa skills in 14 languages in 5 countries. So you can sit in the US and say, Alexa, play me All India Radio Tamil, and it'll play the Tamil All India Radio station live as it is. It's as simple as that. You don't need to have an app, you don't need to have a radio for it. Right? Radio City and the likes as well. Sports, IPL teams have built skills for connecting with their fans. You've got ESPN for latest scores and latest news. Travel, you can book a cab by just give a voice command saying, Alexa, get me a Ola cab, and you're done. And as simple as that. Kids, this is a very popular use case. I have a 1-year-old at home, and I know how much she loves Alexa. She can't speak yet, but whenever I'm feeding her, I just want to say, Alexa, play me a XYZ rhyme, and she gets all excited and engaged, right? And that's what kids as a category does for us. Kids just love Alexa because it never says no, it never says shoo. Alexa will keep listening to you, right? The biggest fear my wife and I have is that the first word should not become Alexa, right? It should be Appa or Amma or whatever it is, right? But never know. Food, ordering food, finding your favorite recipe, discovering which is the Chinese restaurant closest to me, all possible through voice today in India. Education, Byju's, Career Launcher, Alexa already built for Alexa. A lot of humor categories. Devotion, you'll be surprised, probably not surprised if you say in India, right? ABCD works, astrology, Bollywood, cricket, and devotion. So devotion is a very big category. We see customers every day asking us, play me Hanuman Chalisa, play me Hukumnama, right? Give me a Sadhguru talk. So we work with all of these big brands and try to get their experiences on voice. These brands have already bought up to voice. Smart home, we already talked about it earlier. Indian brands like Wipro, Cisco, a lot of other international players like Xiaomi and Philips have already made their brands, making devices to be compatible with Alexa and voice. And finally, even our dear President Narendra Modi's Man Ki Baat is available live on Alexa any time of the month. So these are the kind of brands. We have 20,000 skills in India already available to Indian customers. And we work with developers, big brands to make this happen. So for the first time, brands are truly able to give their brands a voice. So now, all this is great, but the biggest question is, how do you get started on this journey? Right? Where do we start? So first thing I would say is, figure out where in the customer journey you want to play a role, right? Crest decided, okay, customers have already bought my toothpaste, but I want to be on the retention or advocacy side where my toothpaste stands for something, brushing, adherence, hygiene, right? We have a Tide as a brand which has built a skill where a customer asks, Alexa, how do I clean a wine stain in my shirt? Tide comes and recommends you can use your lemon or baking soda without trying to push their product. So Tide now stands for that cleanliness or cleaning, right? And that's what the position the brand occupies in the customer's mind. Maybe it's consideration, right? So you got to figure out where in the customer journey does your brand want to play. Next, you got to figure out what should be the use case. No point building trivial use cases like I want to build a customer support or find out my customer support number through Alexa. You want to figure out what should be the use case you want to do. Have rich content to truly engage customers. And finally, don't introduce friction. Right? You don't want to build an IVR system. You don't want to say, press 1 to do this, or say 1 to do this, say 2 to do this, 3 to do this, right? IVRs already exist, but this is a conversation you want your brand to have, right? If you say, Alexa, get me an Ola, Ola should know that, hey, I'm a Prime customer, 95% of the time I prefer an Ola Prime, and say, I've got an Ola Prime 3 minutes away, do you want to book it? Instead of saying, do you want to book, track, cancel, and the likes, right? And brands have done that. They've removed friction and made it very easy for customers to do their daily tasks in very simple fashion. So once you build a skill, you publish it on what we call the skill store. Like you have the App Store on Apple and your Play Store on Google, we have what we call the skill store. Here's an example of 9XM media channel got their Bade Chote brand on Alexa. So today you can say, Alexa, play Bade Chote jokes, and it will throw you great audio clips, great jokes from Bade Chote. And we have a marketing team in-house where we merchandise, promote. We'll work with your marketing teams to make sure the skill becomes more popular as well. Right? Another example I want to show of Vodafone. All of you know Vodafone. Let me let the video talk for it.
What the heck's that? 지나간다로. 지나간다로.
So why do you need to whip up your phone and say *123# or send an SMS to 121 to know your balance? You say, Alexa, what's my phone balance? Alexa, recharge my phone. Right? It's as simple as that. And that's what voice can do. Right? So Mani, how do we get started on this? How do we take it to the next step? We have a team in India. We'd love to work with you guys, identify opportunities together. We're happy to conduct hackathons, workshops, educate your teams on how to build for voice, how to build for Alexa. The design part, the third part is super important, right? People just say, okay, I've got an Android app, I've got an iOS app, let me just build a voice app. It's not as simple as that. You've got to fundamentally turn it around and say, stop building for eyes and start building for ears, right? Now I need to start thinking of how to build a conversation with my brand. And for that, you need to design a good VUI, or voice user interface as we call it. And then you build the skill and take it to market and do it, right? And like the comic says, you can't do it overnight. You don't do justice to it. It takes 3 to 4 months of effort to get a good skill out. So if you're thinking of jumping on the voice bandwagon, I would say start today. And I'm happy to connect after this to talk more about this. And finally, I want to end with saying, human beings have evolved using tools, learning how to leverage tools, mastering tools even. Then we mastered machines, and then we said, why waste time with machines? Let's get our hands free. We left one hand, we still have one hand occupied with our phones all the time. Why not get that hand free as well and start speaking and get back to basics, right? With that, I want to get back Sanjay on stage. Sanjay is president of Amar Chitrakatha, one of the early adopters for the voice in India. They got great brands. And Sanjay will talk more about what they've done with Alexa. Unfortunately, I think you got the old slide. Sorry, the video is not here. But Sanjay, maybe we'll work with that.
Hello, yeah. I really had to bribe them to make me the last session today, because the last session is always the most interesting one, right? So, I'm from Amar Chitrakatha, as Dilip has already introduced me. As you can see, Amar Chitrakatha and Tinkle have, we were one of the first content partners that Alexa approached. For us, I think the moment we heard that they were looking at doing something in voice, we were very excited because honestly, to us, before a baby learns to read, she first learns to listen and to talk. Audio is the first, the voice of the mother and the father is the first thing that the sense that the child experiences. And they learn to speak before they learn to read. So this whole thing of going back to the basics, bringing audio into the storytelling experience was something that really excited us. In fact, Uncle Pai, or Anant Pai, who founded Amar Chitrakatha, when he first launched Amar Chitrakatha almost 50 years ago, went around introducing Amar Chitrakatha through storytelling sessions. So he actually held storytelling sessions in schools where he told stories to children and then introduced the whole concept of Amar Chitrakatha to them. We also realized that nowadays, while we are available in animation and on in print as well, we realize that a lot of parents are very strongly moving towards bringing audio into the content consumption of the child's daily routine, because this whole screen time, how much screen time is the child actually having in a day, is something that's becoming an increasing concern with parents. And audio, I think, fills in the gap brilliantly and beautifully between print and video. It's really something which, it's just the right balance. It allows the child to sort of relax and absorb what is going on. Further, we also realize that there's a lot of benefits of audio. It improves comprehension, learning language, communication skills, and most importantly, we believe audio stimulates imagination in children, which I think to some extent video is kind of not really helping that much. Why Alexa? Primarily because they came to us and told us that this is what they're doing and we're really excited about it. But I think more importantly, we realized, as you probably saw today, we saw Alexa as a companion for the child. As a companion who listens to the child and also talks to the child. And a companion with infinite patience, which parents mostly don't have. So this whole thing of getting to be able to speak to a child and hear what the child has to say was something that really excited us. The skills we've put onto the Alexa platform currently are more in the question-answer format. So what we have is a mythology quiz for Amar Chitrakatha, mythology and history quiz. We have something in the space of riddles for Supandi. Just a quick show of hands, how many of you know Supandi? Wow, I feel sad for those of you who don't. How many of you know about Shambhu? Okay, more Shambhu fans here. And I'm hoping that when I say Amar Chitrakatha, I'll see all hands going up. Some of, but yeah, not bad. So I think what we realized was that today's kids, to get them, instead of just straight away diving into the storytelling experience, let's get them to first, let's bring the curiosity out in terms of Indian mythology, Indian stories, Indian characters like Shambhu and Supandi, who've been loved for almost 40 years now and still continue to be loved. So we have a riddles quiz for Supandi, very silly kind of stuff, which goes with this character. Shambhu, being an animal conservationist, is obviously going to introduce kids to the magical animal of worlds and forests. And of course, ACK being probably the largest repertoire of mythology and history and Indian art and Indian culture and Indian folk tales. That's the ACK quizzes are massive. In fact, I must mention this, when Uncle Pai, Anand Pai, whom we all fondly call Uncle Pai, when he went around promoting Amachadakatha in the good old days, he also used the quiz as a means to get kids to start interacting with our mythology and our stories. So for us, it was just a no-brainer to just bring that kid the quiz and put it onto the Alexa platform and get the children ready to get a sort of taste of it. Okay, so at the end of this thing, you'll see the video. I'm almost done. Quickly coming to our experience with Alexa, I think it was absolutely wonderful. That's not because Dilip is here looking at me, but because we realized that they have as much passion into providing this experience to users as we have in getting stories across to them. So also I think a couple of things was we realized that to our joy that creating really good content audio is far cheaper than creating good content video. So there was a commercial thing that helped us as well. And there is really a very fairly competitive and large ecosystem of developers who offer you a wide variety of choice and price points. So it was really a great experience, and specifically Sachin and I think Sumit from the Alexa team. If you're here, if you could just raise your hands. If you're here, not here, oh, back there. So those guys, I think, probably worked harder on getting this thing up than my team did. So it was a fantastic experience. I really think you should, because we frankly are a little old world. So as technology is a bit of a monster to deal with. It's the stuff of nightmares. We just made it really easy for us. So brilliant experience, and I think we're going to be doing a lot more stuff with Alexa going forward. In fact, I'll just end with saying that we're looking at doing a lot more stuff like bedtime stories, creating joke generators, and also taking it interactive to the level of build your own story. Get children to be able to build their own stories using our characters. What we'd really like to do further is bring in our epics like Ramayana and Mahabharata in a serialized fashion. I mean, those stories, I think, are even today when they're told, they're spellbinding. So we'd like to bring them in as serialized formats if possible. One last thing that I realized, we've done a lot of work with brands, like the one you saw with Crest right now in the storytelling space, mostly in print and video. But I see tremendous potential in Alexa and us partnering and creating storytelling stories which involve or introduce brands in such a lovely way that both the kids and the parents fall in love with the brand and have a positive feeling towards the brand. We've done stuff in print and video. Happy to explore audio as well. I guess that's it for now. We'll just play the.
This is the Shambhu quiz which Sanjay is talking about. Open Shambhu quiz.
Welcome to Shambhu's Jungle Quiz. Shambhu is going to help you learn all about the animal kingdom. You can ask me to start a quiz or ask to stop it.
Start a quiz.
Here we go. Here is your first question. What animal makes this sound?
Lion.
Lion? Where?
Shambhu, relax. We were only talking about lions.
Oh, lions. Well, I'm not scared of lions at all. In fact, I even befriended a lion once in the Gir forest in Gujarat. Maybe it wasn't a full lion. Maybe he was just a cub. I'll tell you this much. I wasn't very fond of his father though, always growling at me. He became more friendly after I took a thorn out of his paw. Turns out, he was growling because of the thorn.
Shambhu, should we do the rest of the quiz?
Go right ahead, Alexa.
Your current score is 1 out of 1. Here is your second question. Do you know?
This is an example of bringing their brand to life, bringing their characters to life. The kids are also learning something new. It's engaging, it's a conversation, it's not a boring quiz. And it is a simple example of what Sanjay was talking about. think with that we.
Yeah, we're done. In case anybody has any
Questions, we're happy to.
Hi Dilip, this is Nitin. I look after India business with Mohan.
So I can't hear you.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I look after India business with Mohan. I have a quick query. I use Alexa and I really don't know whether there is any level of censorship which is regulating this at this point of time. So there might be some content, is there any parental control that is happening? Is this happening right now, or is it that you're planning, or is this a part of censorship which any censorship authority in India is looking at?
Good question. So what we do is there are two levels. One is any skill, like in your app world, right? Any skill can't go live without a certification process. So we have a team of certifiers, you want to call them, who look at the skill for any such policy-related stuff, censorship-related things, privacy, security, and whether the skill does what it's supposed to do. Exactly like in the app world and mobile world, that's replicated here. That's one level of filtering and censorship, you want to call it. The next one is, especially in kids as a category, right, is very sensitive. We don't want skills being positioned for kids, but trying to sell something, trying to market something. So that's why only for kids category, parents need to give a one-time consent on their Alexa app, and then only then they can use all the kids-related skills, right? So today, if you try a kid skill, it will say, go to your Alexa app and press XYZ toggle, and you can enable all your kid skills. But that's a second level of filter or censorship mechanism, if you want to call it, which you introduce.
But is that not really specific to that particular app which we are talking? It's not like if a kid is playing something or instructing something to Alexa, would Alexa know that this is a kid's voice and they should not play certain content?
So like I said, right, the content which Alexa plays today is either built by third-party developers or brands which undergo that process, or it's built by Amazon, which has its own internal processes. So Alexa, we position as a brand-safe, family-safe product, right? Obviously, we don't track this voice as a particular voice from a kid. If your kid could say, play this thing or song, you can ask the same song and it will respond back the same way. Does it distinguish the response today basis who the person is?
Exactly. So there can be a kind of songs which you would not want your kids to be, listening to.
So it's good.
So this is where I was coming from that point.
So in the US, we have a special product actually built, which is a kids edition of Echo, where a lot of such filters also apply. It's not there in India yet, right? But it's good feedback. We'll definitely take it back to the drawing board.
Right. Thanks.
Yes.
Is to understand the performance of the analytics. How has it happened? How have the users interacted with the apps? When do you think Amazon will allow us integration to understand how it has performed?
Today, any brand that builds a skill gets access to, like you have your analytics on other, on your web, you have your entire skills dashboard. Any point in time, you can go check out how many customers you have, how many sessions have you had, what part of the funnel they're dropping off.
Okay.
All of the analytics are already available for a developer.
Okay.
It's already built into our platform today.
Okay, so as a brand marketer, do I have access to that?
Yes, you do. For your skill, yes.
For my skill, obviously.
Yeah, of course. You already have access to it.
All right.
And strangely enough, we have a brand in the same segment, Johnny Walker. They built a skill in the US.
Yeah, that's our brand.
Right? Yeah.
So we built the RCB app and we're struggling to ask for the performance behind it.
So we will work with you on that.
All right, thanks.
Just wanted to understand that you said that a lot of apps are getting helped with the voice technology that Alexa offers. However, that is the means where I can book a cab and I don't need to see it. What about the categories where I need to see the product, especially say e-com, fashion, or even other products which are not commodities? How can Alexa help with that? Can it also?
Sure. So right now what you saw is the non-screen devices. If you see the Alexa, the Echo portfolio, we have an Echo Spot which has a small screen, we have the Echo Show which has a big screen, and today even your Fire TV stick, which a lot of you will be familiar with, has Alexa integrated in it from 2 weeks ago, right? So a lot of Alexa is not only where it's pure voice-based interaction, there are a lot of devices that also come with screens. So you could say, Alexa, show me the latest fashion products and bring it up to you. Obviously, is it as ramped up as your mobile phone? Obviously not, right? So shopping, I would not say is the primary use case that people do. What people do is people do a lot of reordering, right? Like I said, I have a 1-year-old, so I say, Alexa, buy me my Pampers. It'll say, last Pampers you bought was XYZ, should I reorder it? Yes, and it's done. As simple as that. But maybe fashion as a category is not yet there. But when you have more screen-based devices which are also voice controlled, you will get there surely.
It's the same thing only. My name is Prakash. The same thing what he was asking about the kids. Huh? Same thing. Like say for example, normally kids try to place, like I had my kid last week, he placed the order for a Harry Potter book on the Amazon. You just say buy now and then it's got delivered. Same thing is possible here, right? Not just for Amazon, but for anything. Just pay the bill, watch financial transactions. Google Play is also there. Google Pay.
Sure.
So they recharge this or sometimes if I myself do it by mistake. We have heard stories of Amazon that in the US conversation gets recorded and has been sent to another friend. So something else. So has it all been taken care right now? Or?
Yeah, so certain sectors like finance, for instance, we have multiple steps of authentication. We have IndusInd, one of the first banks which built a full-fledged banking skill on Alexa. It got published a couple of months back. So you can do fund transfer, you can pay your bills through your IndusInd skill, and you need to give your voice PIN. It's a one-time PIN which you set it when you set it up. So nobody else, your kid may not have your PIN like your debit card, right? So that's the second factor of authentication to make sure nobody can do a fund transfer on your behalf. That's on one. And the conversations that happened, it happened as a one-off where Alexa misheard a lot of things, and hence that got that incident happened.
Normally, does Alexa record all of the conversations that happens around you?
No, it doesn't record all the conversations happen around you. Only when you say the wake word. There are 4 wake words you can set: Alexa, Echo, computer, and one more, Amazon. Only when it hears that word will it actually wake up and start listening to the next command. It only watches out for those 4 words which are locally wired into the device. Only those 4 words.
Hi, my name is Dhruv and my company develops skills on Alexa. One of the things that I wanted to understand is about the Echo show that you just mentioned, and apart from what it's going to be, can you explain us what would be the advances that are expected in the show part, the Echo show devices, apart from the ones that you mentioned in the previous question?
We can have a more detailed chat on that, but very simply put, it's a much bigger screen. It's already launched in the US. It has an inbuilt smart home hub. It's got a much bigger screen, so you can do a lot more. You can watch TV, probably certain channels. You can see videos, your Prime Video is instantly accessible there. So whatever you can do with the screen, we try to strive towards that here as well. But we can talk about how we can build a lot more.
Hi, I'm Devansh from Indeed. Simple question. When will Alexa learn Hindi or other languages?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's a simple but good question. So we recognize that's a very important thing. So what we do today is, if I say play Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara, did I say English or Hindi? Right? It's a mix of both words. And so all you want to be doing is we're training Alexa to recognize, we've trained Alexa to recognize Hindi, English, Kannada, Tamil, Malayalam, all the Indic language words. So at least basic use cases like music, radio, things like that should work seamlessly. But having a full conversation in Hindi is not yet launched, right? Obviously, we recognize the need to go Indic in India and make it big. Today you can set samay kya hai or time kya hai, right? Live switch off karo. So partially some of it works, but to truly make it a complete conversation, it requires a lot of product work. And I can't talk about timelines, I can't talk about when, but definitely something which is part of our consideration.
Hi, Ghazal. I just wanted to ask a consumer question, sure. And it's a very naive question. But we have Siri, we have Google, and then we have Alexa. Both of them are also voice activated. Also, they are free of cost as against Alexa. So, why would consumers invest in Alexa? What is the biggest USP that would push sales?
When you say free of cost, today there are enough. You can download the Alexa app on your phone, and you get Alexa free of cost through the app. You can access Alexa through your app. Yeah, just on your Android iOS, download the Alexa app. Alexa is embedded into the app. You can just click it and speak to it. The difference is you're picking up the phone and speaking. It's called near field technology, right? You're not standing 20 feet away and just speaking. That's far field. So you need a mic array system which picks up your voice command no matter where you are, recognize them and do all of the magic, right? So on your phone you can do it, you get it for free like the other devices as well, like the other assistants you spoke about.
But in terms of features, they're the same as
completely
the
same.
other models.
Yeah, completely same. Alexa is just a voice service, right? Obviously it depends on how good the speaker your phone is, right? You buy an Echo Plus, you get a bigger speaker, you can do more.
Not a question, just a statement. I grew up on Amar Chitrakatha, and a lot of my knowledge, and very good knowledge on mythologies, epics, or history is from Amar Chitrakatha. And the new generation doesn't know it. And they may not even have enough knowledge about that. So thank you for that.
Hello. Thank you for, I don't think I was supposed to answer that question. I was supposed to say thank you, so thank you so much. No, I mean, I guess we were waiting for Alexa to come along, and really happy they did. And as I said, we plan to do a lot more stuff. As Alexa develops, we develop with them. As I said, telling the story is something which, as an experience, has become less and less prevalent because of the onslaught of videos. So we're really happy that it's come back to Alexa, and really looking at, a lot of kids don't really want to hold a book. I think they're just happy to listen. So we're hoping that this will bring in that difference, because finding the giant beast of video is not for us anyway. So yeah, and I'm happy that you think that Amar Chitrakatha is still as loved as it is, because it's people like you that are keeping us going. Thank you so much.
Any further questions, ladies and gentlemen? All right, so then on that note, let's have a huge round of applause there for that fantastic session.